streaming. Connect your recorder to go live. All right. Am I streaming? Okay, it's system. Oh dear. Are we live? I think we're live. We may be live. All right, let's see if I get a notification on the tablet. Let's see, check my subscriptions here. I mean, according to the YouTube studio, I think I'm live. I think I'm live here. Okay, update. Come on now, give me an update. When I was live before, my tablet gave me a notification because I subscribed to myself from another account. Okay, well, it's delayed there. Boy, I wish to see. This is where it would be nice if I had subscribers, some subscribers that knew when I was going to do this, so I could get a see if I really was live, really am live. This is notifications. Come on, live now, international. That's not me. What if I click home, tap home? Can I tell when I'm live? There used to be like a clock. Oh, it says, there it is. Live, minute and 42. Okay, now a minute and 42 of just me going, am I live? Am I live? Oh dear, am I live? I'm such a, I'm not a boomer. I'm actually a Generation X. Who is, okay, dog? No interrupting. No interrupting. He wants in, he wants out. I let him out, he wants right back in. So he's got his dog bed. He can, sure, come on. Just settle in one spot, please. Thank you. Okay. Diet Rebel Scum and Diet Rebel Scum Curious. Welcome to my, I believe this is my 5th live stream. At least I'm going to title it that way. I think I already did. Okay. It's been too damn long since I've done one of these. I think it was a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? Time flies when you're having fun. I've got several updates here. This is exciting. This should be a pretty good show. Shorty, do you want out? Do you want out? In the pitter patter of little claws. There is a new food pyramid. Check this out. A new food pyramid has been released. Here's what it says you should eat. Okay, now this is the RFK Jr. Led. He's our was he FDA secretary? Whatever Trump put him in charge of with our health, the CDC. There's so many of these damn organizations, that govern these things and recommend things, but I have to get a new freaking intro. See, I can no longer say really completely. Now, I'm not saying I 100% agree with this new food pyramid, but boy, is it a move in the right direction for us low-carb people, for us low-carb, carnivore, keto advocates. Those of us that have rebelled against the old food pyramid, the old high-sugar, low-fat BS that was out there, making everybody fatsos and having all kinds of chronic disease. At least that's what I believe. Your mileage may vary. But this right here seems to be a lot better. See, you've got meat right up there at the top. You got the meat and a big bird. What is that, a turkey? Big chicken or something like that? Now, here's what we carnivores, and like I say, I do have honey in this cup. I made this. This is my Go Live latte, decaf coffee, because I am still staying away from the caffeine, folks. But I'm kind of wondering, maybe I need to redo my intro, because usually I do this. Hello, Diet Rebel Scum and Diet Rebel Scum Curious. Diet Rebel Scum being those of us who have taken a stand against that old food pyramid. Okay, I'm going to work it out right now. That old food pyramid, the high carb, low fat, the food pyramid that made decades of us Americans fatsos and diabetics. turning us into diabetics. Not that there wasn't fatsos and diabetics before that, but boy, I tell you what, you start taking out the fat and the protein and replace it with lots of high carb sugars, spike that insulin way the hell up there. I think it does the body no good. Anyway, Diet Rebel Scum is those of us who rebelled against that, finally, after wrecking our bodies for decades, trying to abide by that damn thing. Well, now it's been turned around. Now there is some pushback on it. Oh yes, in my Facebook feed, there's been some of these. We're in a propaganda information war, people. I know I've said that before, and I'm a late comer to realize we're in that. You know, some people are purists that they've always known we're in a propaganda war. Back in the 60s, we were in a propaganda war. 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s. We've always been. Mankind has always been in a propaganda war. Since we've had written language, we're in a propaganda war. But anyway, with health and fitness, that's where I like to talk about. But you know, I have interests much broader into the other realms of the propaganda war we're in. But I'll try to steer clear of that. You know, I need to stay focused. I'm a Renaissance man. I have so many hobbies and interests. I don't have time for them all. So I don't do any of them well, except for I think I lead a pretty good disciplined diet life, pretty good, except for this damn holiday season. I tell you what. Okay. I don't know what all I gained. You know, I don't know if I told you before. I'm not sure I was really aware of it before, but I do weigh myself all the time naked before I get in the shower, right? So I noticed over like 3 weeks leading up to Christmas and New Year's, people, you know, they were bringing us stuff at work. You know, people from other departments, I may have told you about this on my last live stream, leaving cookies on this cabinet right outside my freaking office door. It's like this high. I got to walk by those freaking cookies. So I let some of them dribble in. You know, I was cutting back the caffeine, and I'm kind of like, okay, I do these bargains with myself. It's not good. People, I don't recommend bargaining with yourself. If you can quit something, just quit it. Don't exchange it for another poison. I'm an exchanger. So I exchange for a little while until I get used to not consuming that thing that I was trying to get rid of. Then I kind of quit the bargaining, and then I kind of let go of both things. But here's what I've been doing. I think I've told you before, like coffee, I'm trying to stay away from the 0-calorie sweeteners or any of these. Definitely the artificial sweeteners, like the saccharides and things like that. I don't think they're natural anyway. I always call them artificial sweeteners. I've gotten rid of most of those and went to like the stevia, and these colas with no colorings called Zevia. They're sweetened with stevia. I kind of got into those, but a lot of people don't believe in doing those either. That those kind of, and I think they do this, those kind of trick your body into thinking you ate something with sugar or turned to sugar. And that can spark an insulin release. Well, what happens with me is I notice when I'm fasting or whatever, if I eat something that's got one of these 0-calorie sweeteners, these no sugar, but they damn taste sweet anyway, well, it makes me ravenously hungry where I'm ready to kill somebody. I think, and I was told by somebody that's because you tricked your brain, that sweetener tricked your brain into thinking you ate some sugar that you didn't really eat, and now it threw out some insulin. Your body threw a pancreas, squirt out some insulin in there to take care of sugar that you didn't eat, and it took blood sugar that was all right and put it in muscles or whatever again, dropped your blood sugar. And what happens when you drop your blood sugar? You get hangry. You get ready to kill somebody. You're ready to become a cannibal. Ain't that right, Shrody? Shrody's not a cannibal, I don't think. Okay. Shrody's my dog, by the way, not the cat. I think I introduced you to the cat last time. This is Shrody. Maybe I introduce him next time, if I haven't already in a past video. All right, back to what I was talking about. So, new food pyramid. Let's check it out. Let's look in here. I'll tell you what I eat in the food pyramid here. Cheese? Yep, I do some of that. I go in spurts. I may not touch cheese for several days in a row, and then I may eat a nice big chunk. I don't think I'm lactose intolerant, so that's okay. It's okay with me as far as I can tell. Some people, what is this? This page just keeps reloading or something. This is one of those pages with tons of advertisements that come up. So, okay, and it knows what I look at. Yeah, I like silver and gold and all those kinds of things because that's what we type of people are interested in. That's one of my broad things I look at. Silver's way up. Okay, meat, that. And I will eat a chicken breast now and then, not because they're low fat, because they're available. Only I don't buy chicken breasts for home. Don't buy any kind of chicken for home. The wife does, but I don't. And so I only eat that when, actually specifically, when I'm at my workplace cafeteria and I order what they call the Stevenator. They named it after me. 2 beef patties, chicken breast, grilled salmon. Just all meat, kind of a surf and turf type of thing. Okay, so that, if it's turkey, I eat turkey. I have bought turkey for home before. Broccoli, hell no. I heard broccoli was actually an artificial thing, like man invented it. It's not like something that grows out naturally. So I don't know about that. Don't trust that. Like I say, I'm not an expert in anything. Don't believe anything I say. Always check. Always check on what I say. That's why I don't think you should subscribe to this channel. It's just me rambling like this. You know, unless you want more of this, don't subscribe to this channel. Okay, carrots, never. I don't bother with carrots at all. What does that say? Peas? Peas? I don't eat no peas. It looks like they're trying to say that it's a healthy olive oil. I bet that's what that's trying to portray. I don't do no olive oil on anything anymore. Back when I was keto, I think I did. I don't know what the hell that is. I'm not sure. That looks like maybe fish, like a big salmon. It's like, is that the skin of the fish or something? So if that's fish, I do that. Milk, yes. I've been doing hippie organic whole milk, not raw milk. I don't have a source for raw milk. And actually, you know what? I don't think I could drink raw milk just because it sounds gross. Not because I don't think it's good for you. I think it probably is good for you. It's at least as good for you as this. This is homogenized, but it is like organic. This particular milk in this cup that I heated up for my decaf latte with a little bit of honey in here. There is some honey, so I am spiking my blood sugar just a little bit here with the lactose sugar naturally in the whole milk, and with probably about 2 or 3 teaspoons of honey. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Keeps me from buying so many damn vanilla lattes out where I pay $6 or $7 US for them. I don't want to do that. Okay. No, 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 no. No, and even the whole grains. You know what's all the rage these days? That looks like it's supposed to be sourdough bread. Kind of looks like it to me. I'm not a bread aficionado, but people baking sourdough bread is all the rage these days. The last year or two, I mean, it seems like somebody said it started in with the COVID thing, that people got into sourdough because you have to it almost sounds like it's like brewing beer. Like you have to get live yeast or grow some live yeast, and I don't know how you do it. You feed it flour, I guess. I was just talking with some of my running mates that are into cooking sourdough. I tell you what, I'm kind of curious. I would almost like to bake some just for the hell of it, because it sounds fun. I don't brew beer anymore. I used to home brew beer and had my live yeast for that. That was pretty cool, fermenting beer. But I got away from that because I didn't want all the sugar. And now I actually don't like to drink anymore either. I don't even want the alcohol, which I hear everybody's quitting alcohol. And it's probably because weed's been legal and, people are just switching one poison for another. I mean, marijuana sounds better to me than alcohol. Alcohol makes you sick the next day. Nobody wants that. Ain't that right, Schrody? Schrody's laying in his bed now. Okay, so enough with the new food pyramid. I'm glad it's out there. A lot of people are not. Food has become political. And if anything should not be political, food, health should not be political. We should all be after the same freaking thing. We all want to live as healthfully as possible. As healthfully as, I don't usually hear that word. We want to live as healthy as possible, right? With as little disease as possible, on as few drugs as possible. You know, if you're taking drugs, hopefully they're the fun kind, not like something that's supposed to cure some kind of disease, but actually is killing you in some other way that they're not telling you about. You know, you don't want that. We don't want that. No, none of us want that, right? Some of us act like we can't live without that. I mean, and maybe some people, you know, I'm not bashing all pharmaceutical products, but there is like a drug for everything now. Everything is a disease. Everything's advertised as a disease, and there are so many. If they, and when I say they, I mean the drug pushers of America. Pharmaceutical companies are the drug pushers. They're the legal drug pushers of America. I stole that from somebody. I don't know who it was, but that's not my original. Way to characterize them. But here in the United States, it is legal to advertise drugs. I would be shocked if some didn't like pop up on next to this food pyramid already. Fights the battle for SNAP beneficiaries, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, advertisements are going to come up there. In my feed, in my social media feed, I see all the freaking time. The drugs, they're advertising, you know, one of those, that class of drug that was kind of pushed on us pretty heavily a few years ago, and somewhat not forced, but forced. As they're saying that's freaking curing cancer. Not really curing. Are they saying curing? But they'll come out. I'm seeing all these freaking things. That's why I say we're in a propaganda war. So I'll see these little memes come up, you know, talking about now it's like cancer deaths are cut in half because of the such and such vaccine. It's like, really? Really? And what I'm really pleased at is those things get like 1,000 laugh emojis compared to maybe 50 thumbs ups, and there'll be like 10 hearts in there. But most of the time, it's overwhelmingly laugh emojis. I like that. Now, I don't know if because those things are fed to people like me who are not convinced and just see it as propaganda, and that's why there's so many laugh emojis compared to the thumbs ups, is just because they're going to people like me, or are those being fed out to everybody's social media feeds? I don't know. I think it's bots. And I think I just splashed my honey latte up on my face. Okay, let's move this along. All right, enough of the food pyramid. It's out there. Some people hate it. I think it's a great idea. Here is, okay, mark my words. One more thing about the food pyramid, and I'm going to move on to another subject. The food pyramid is what it is right now. How long do you think it'll be before it gets changed? I think it will be when our current, if the opposition to our current administration get back in, where they are calling the shots when it comes to drugs and food, they're going to change it back. That's kind of what I think. Okay, I'm saying this on January 14th, 2026. When the people come back that are really high on the low-fat and high-sugar way of living, they're going to change it back to that, or some form, or they're gonna adjust it so they can call it their own, but it'll still be really low fat, low protein, and very high sugar and things that turn to sugar. They need people diabetic because that leads to all kinds of other profitable diseases. Remember, you're more profitable sick than you are healthy. I'm all about profit, but the profit needs to be making people better, not making people worse. Okay, enough of that. I still have no AFib. I've been checking my heart every day with my Acardia device, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. No AFib. I have not drank. I've drank one. This is my alcohol consumption since I did my AFib live stream where I announced it. I had 1/2 pour of a very high alcohol IPA. Now it was literally 1/2 pour, which is like 6 ounces. I drank that, chit-chatted with the regulars that were at the brewery, and then I left. 1/2 pour, but that 1/2 pour IPA was an 8-point-something% alcohol. You could you could taste the alcohol in that beer. Anyway, but boy, was it yummy, 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 yummy. But it didn't do anything to me. I was totally fine, and I even did a pretty hard run the following morning. I was up at 4:30, met with my running peeps at 5:30, and ran. So, AFib is still not. I haven't had a day of AFib like I did that one time so I kind of think that was alcohol consumption that kind of triggered that. Oh, check this out. I upped my mileage last week, January 5th to 11th. Look at that, 42 miles. The week before that was 31. Now, that is quite a big percentage increase. My typical weeks before that were in the 30s. And that one was just 10.9 miles, 25 miles. That was kind of high, December 1st through 7th, 33, and 17 going back. But yeah, 42 miles last week. I had a big string of runs, and I even had a half marathon that I ran on Saturday. That was Saturday afternoon. Now, the reason I did that one, that was a long run, and I was trying to push it a little bit. As you can see, my average pace there, if that's not too small to read, 8:55 per mile. Now, me and my running peeps, one of my running peep friends was running the Houston half marathon. So she was doing a half. Her goal was to break 2 hours, and she did it. And so the night before, one of my other running peeps in the morning, actually the day before in the morning, we normally meet together and run on Saturday mornings. Well, we just didn't meet that day. But one of the running peeps, girl, she got up, and I was looking in Strava. I was like, I had just gotten up. It was kind of getting late in the morning. But I was still not even dressed yet. I was just sitting at the table, sipping my decaf coffee, and strolling through Strava and other social media. But I see on Strava, one of my running peep friends, she did a half marathon and did it pretty fast too. So she ran a half marathon where we usually do our runs, and it was a rolling hill, that neighborhood, that's a lot of rolling hills downtown. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I think she mentioned something about doing it like a week ahead of time. She talked about it, but I had forgotten that conversation. It was like not in the top of my mind at the moment, so it took me by surprise. And I was like, oh my gosh, she did a half marathon, because she was not going to Houston with the other girl. And so I was like, well, son of a gun. She did a half marathon. I need to do a half marathon in support of our friend running the half marathon tomorrow. So I was pissed all day. I was kind of like, okay, because I was wanting to work around the house, get some cleaning done, some projects that I've had for a year that I've never accomplished, so I've never finished. And it's how I roll in a lot of things. So, but I planned for a meet at a coffee shop that was open that didn't close until 6:30 p.m. And I got there somewhere around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's downtown also. And I ran my own half marathon, and that was it. So I did that one, averaged 8:55. Now the half marathon actual event that I did a few weeks ago in Salina, Kansas, I think I averaged 8:07 per mile, and that was a very flat course. So this course I ran, I just randomly made it up as I went. I did a big loop, skinny loop, way south downtown and way north downtown. So anyway, and there was a couple of monster hills in there. So I made sure I worked in one big monster hill and some not as monster hills, but there was a few hills in there. But it was not as hilly as the girl that ran earlier that day that inspired me to do that. So props to her. So, all right. So I'm surviving that big up in mileage, except for one little thing. Now, I switched shoes. I bought a New Balance, and let me show you these. This is the New Balance Fresh Foam More, M-O-R-E, version 6. Look at how monstrous this thing is. This is a big chunk of foam because I've been searching for shoes that are as cushy as possible. Now, this is their really softest ride foam that New Balance makes. So these are, and I think this is a neutral shoe, so it doesn't do anything. It doesn't try to limit your rolling left and right. It doesn't try to get you to not supinate or pronate. It's a neutral shoe. It kind of lets you do whatever. And it's a very high stack here. I think 44 millimeters in the back, 40 millimeters in the front. It is a tall stack of foam. By far the tallest stack of foam shoes I've ever put on my feet. Now, I started running in them immediately. Now, the reason I went to these is New Balance is really good about making a lot of their shoes in different widths. So they make a lot of wides. And I need wides in the forefoot because my pinky toe tends to push here and get a little cramped. Not really much on my right foot, but on my left, it's kind of bad. So anyway, I like buying wides. So this is my first ever in my whole running career since I was 17 years old back in 1988 when I very first started. I've never run in New Balance shoes, so this is my first. And they are cushy. Now, I needed wide and I wanted soft as hell because of the neuropathy in my feet that I keep complaining about. Now, that gives me the transition into the neuropathy in my feet. Now, I have some hope. And sadly, it was not because of the shoe. I want a soft ride, so I thought it would be a little cushier on my forefoot area that gets really inflamed, feeling like it's on fire on both feet. I thought I needed softer and softer. I was always searching for the softest, widest forefoot, cushy, plush ride that I could find. And I found this is about as plush as it gets, right? Well, I noticed my forefoot area still is just like any other shoes. I could feel it, coming on, but I ran 3 or 4 miles. The first real run in them was, I think, 4 miles. I can't remember what day I started with them, but yeah. And I was like, I can still kind of feel my feet, I mean, I should have known it was not going to be a magic bullet that my feet wouldn't hurt at all, but I could feel it. But then the following day, I kind of kept thinking about what is the deal with my feet, and so I noticed the skin on the bottom of my feet, all through my forefoot area and across the bottoms of my toes. Well, for the past several years, that skin's been pretty thick. It feels thick, and it's part of the kind of the numb feeling that I get, where it's not the tingling, inflaming hurts, not the painful thing. It's like how my feet feel when I'm laying in bed at night. I just wear, and there's no pressure on my feet, but if I curl my toes, the skin has, since I had this, since even just before I had the painful neuropathy, that it always felt like the skin was thick, like it didn't want to bend. And then the painful neuropathy came later, timed right after, like a week or 2 or 3 after a drug that may or may not have been pushed on the whole population of the earth. Now, that's why I always suspected the drug that was pushed on the whole population of the earth. So I never really knew, because one of the side effects of that drug that was pushed heavily across the whole earth is nerve damage, neuropathy problems. That's one of the side effects. So what do I blame? The bad pain came after that. But the thick skin, the actual thick skin part, was actually predated that. So it always made me think, maybe it's not the drug that was pushed across the world. So I was in my hippie store where I get this hippie grass-fed milk, and there was on a little island various Epsom salts. There was a sport Epsom salt, big, like a 4-pound bag. And I've never been into foot soaking or doing the salt baths for muscle aches or any of that kind of stuff. I was always just kind of, I don't think that stuff probably doesn't really work. I never gave it a chance, never really looked into it, heard about it. Seen people kind of praise it once in a great while. It's not that big a deal. But I have at one time, this was 10 years ago. I do remember I had what's called, I think they call it a corn in my forefoot area. And I think it was a recurring one on my right foot. Now, this is not the neuropathy thing, but it is a thick skin problem that I did get, that I had to cut with a really sharp, forgot what I used. I think I may have used toenail clippers, but a corn, if you don't know, everybody knows except me, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway, just in case you've never had one and it's never been on your radar. But it's like anywhere on the bottom of your foot, like people can get them on their heel, they can get them on their forefoot area, on the ball of their foot, wherever there's a bunch of pressure down on the foot. A nodule of skin can get really hard and thick, and it gets thicker and harder, and it becomes like this hard ball of hard skin that's beneath the skin of your foot. So it's inside your foot, but it's like having a rock in your shoe. So you've got this hard nodule of I guess it's dead skin that's formed like a little rock in your foot there, close to the surface. And it's like stepping on a rock. So I had that in the same spot, and I would go and I would cut down and I would cut the skin. It doesn't hurt at all, but you could dig down and pull almost like a skin plug. Sounds gross, but there's no blood or anything. It doesn't hurt. But you just kind of dig this solid chunk of skin out. So now you got this little crater in the bottom of your foot, but there's no hard nodule there. So then you can step on it and it doesn't hurt at all now, because that hard nodule is, most of that skin is out of there, off of your foot. So it doesn't hurt anymore. But for some reason, it all kind of grows back and it becomes a hard nodule in there again. I'd have to go cut it out. Well, I got to thinking about that after running in these new cushy shoes, which I was fine with. I would maybe buy another pair I think I got another issue, just a little issue with the shoes. I think I'm having a hard time with ankle because it does let your foot do all kinds of stuff. So I think it's tweaking my right ankle a little bit, and I am not injury prone. I've never had ankle problems. But anyway, so back to the Epsom salt thing. I bought a bag of the Epsom salt stuff, and because I was thinking I got thick skin, and I was like, what if, just what if, the corn problem I had a long time ago, I don't have an individual little nodule that's poking up hurting, because that was a real dull ache. It was really like a pain, like you step on, like you're stepping on a little rock in your shoe. This is like all of the skin on my forefoot area, like over a big patch, all feels really thick. And I started thinking, what if, and it's on both feet. And I thought, what if this nerve tingling, out of control, feet on fire feeling that I get once I get a few miles into a run, and especially in a marathon, it's those final 6-7 miles of a marathon are just, feet are just on fire. It's never gets any worse. It gets to like a 7 in the pain department, but never gets to an 8, 9, or 10. So I can keep going. But that, I'm like, what if all that is because of all the skin in my forefoot area has gotten really thick? And maybe when I'm running and landing, maybe that really thick skin is putting extra pressure on my nerves on the bottom of my feet. It's just a theory. I don't know if I'm right, but I'll get to my point here in a second. So I decided to go to the pharmacy, and I got a foot care kit, kind of like thing like you'd have at a you know how you can file skin. They got these. It's like a cheese grater, and then they've got a fine diamond file. But these are tools for scraping dead skin off your feet, like to do a pedicure. It's like a pedicure kit. And then the blade thing, this is actually, I used this back when I had corns too. So I would use toenail clippers to dig down sharp. But there's also this tool, and I remember I ordered this off Amazon a long time ago, and I don't know where the hell it's been. But anyway, I got another one in this kit. But it's got a razor blade. It's a razor blade, and the razor blade fits in a little frame, and there's a little hole that's open that you can, and this frame has a handle attached, so you can like put this razor blade, and it pulls the razor, and you pull the razor blade across the skin. Now this is after you have soaked your feet and you soften the skin, so the skin will shave easier. And you can actually take this tool that's got this razor in the frame, and you drag it, and over that open hole, you can actually like cut strips of thick skin off of your feet, or wherever it's at, And anyway, I started doing that. So I soaked my feet for a while in this like salt bath, foot soak thing, in a little tub. And I pulled a foot out and felt where, the skin's really thick right down the middle of my forefoot area. It's like I could feel that real thick skin. And I took that and I cut some strips of skin off right under my forefoot area in the balls of my feet. And I did it on both feet in what I thought was probably the thickest part, And I didn't have high hopes for that. I just thought, well, what can it hurt? It's got lots of skin there to get rid of, Anyway, so I did that and dried my feet up, and put my shoes back on, went about the rest of my evening. That was kind of in the evening. And then I got up and ran the next morning. And I'll be a monkey's uncle if there wasn't a noticeable. Now, I'm not saying like I didn't do a long run the next morning. I can't remember which morning it was exactly. But I do remember when we took off running. Usually I can feel the neuropathy in my feet. That little burning, tingling would start right away. It wouldn't be bad. In fact, I could almost ignore it. It's almost just routine. I kind of ignore it. But it is there. So I know it's there, but I can just go about my chit-chatting if I'm talking with somebody, or thinking about the run, or thinking about how out of breath I'm getting. It's just a minor thing when runs start. But I'll be damned if I didn't notice a decrease in how much my feet, how much less my forefoot area hurt. So, damn it, I can't remember what day I did that. Was that before? Let's see. 4.1 miles Tuesday. What are we? Wednesday? That's today. Okay. Well, I guess it was that run. Because I think I did it. Maybe it was Monday night. Or maybe it was after I got done. Maybe it was Sunday. After later Sunday. I ran in the morning on. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm remembering. It was after this long run. That was Sunday morning. It was after that. I got home, took a shower, and then I went and got the kit and the Epsom salt. And I filed on my feet Sunday night. Didn't do anything Monday. And then Tuesday morning, that morning, meeting with my running peeps, I noticed, and it was in these shoes. I've had these shoes for almost that whole week, that high mileage week. So I went right into a very neutral, non-stable, high stack of cushion that I think it was good in one way, lots of plush run, but it lets my feet do some bad stuff. But anyway, that was very noticeable. That run, my feet didn't tingle so bad. In fact, yeah, I need to do another run in them to just make sure. Because if that's the case, if that shaving the skin on my feet actually relieved a lot of that stinging, burning sensation that's been plaguing me for the last few years. Oh my God. So it's 2026, that was 2022. Almost 4 freaking years that neuropathy has been like off the hook. I mean, it's been a plague where I can't enjoy anything, especially trail running. It's really bad. But I'm going to do another few foot soaks and shavings and really try to get that thick skin really pared down. And if I can soften my feet back up and that skin be more pliable like regular little delicate feet, if that cures my neuropathy, oh, I'm going to be so freaking happy. So freaking happy. Okay, that's all. I think that's all I wanted to share tonight. Yeah, new shoes, my neuropathy update. I upped my mileage. We got a new food pyramid. All right, I'm going to have to work on another speech intro. Because I'm DietRebelScum. I named my channel after rebelling against the government food pyramid. Now the government food pyramid is more to us low-carb people's liking. Not perfect. I mean, our food pyramid, it wouldn't be a food pyramid. It'd be just a big ball of beef right in the middle. Cat's meowing. Cat's ready to go to bed. It is past my bedtime. I got to get up early and run. Got to get up at 4:30. It's 9:16. Yeah, the cat's really meowing. Can you hear her? Poor girl. Poor girl. She's 22 years old. That Liney cat. Her name's Linus. I know Linus is a boy's name. I wanted a boy, but I love her anyway. Okay, DietRebelScum. We're not rebelling against this food pyramid, but we're rebelling against the old food pyramid. We welcome the new food pyramid. It's a step in the right direction. But all right, that's enough live stream for today. All right, let's go on and make this another low-carb week, or until I see you again, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'll try not to make it so damn long. All right, we'll check you later.